Hello friends, Jenkins Dota here, bringing you another Dota 2 video on behalf of Pvgna.com. This is going to be part of the Offlaning with Beastmaster in 7.07 video series. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to do Roshan with Beastmaster solo at a very reasonable time with very reasonable items. Okay, so what items you really do need are, go ahead and give myself some gold here, is you need a Necro Book, at least Necro Book 2. It's a lot easier with Necro Book 3. You're going to need a Medallion and then build into a Solar Crest eventually, a Smoke, and that's it. That's literally it. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh here just so I can TP over to closer to the pit and get my Solar Crest. So a few things that I want to say before I show you how to actually do it. Number one, Beastmaster just alone is a very, very good Roche taker. Even if you're not trying to go in and be like this ballsy guy soloing Roche, making this huge play, you don't even need to do that. Beastmaster alone, like, he's always been a great Roche taker because he has this aura that gives your team tons of attack speed. He has the piercing damage on Call of the Wild on his units. He does good damage himself. He builds into his Solar Crest, and the Wild Axes do physical damage. Stacking physical damage, constantly getting higher and higher, increasing the damage of all of his units and of Beastmaster himself. So Beastmaster just alone is very, very good at Roshing with his team, but you can actually solo Roche very, very easily, especially if you have the Solar Crest and Necronomicon, which these are very, very common items to have at a reasonable time. So you'd probably be about level 12 or level 11 by now. So this is kind of the skill build that you would have at this point, reasonably. So this is very, very good for taking Roshan. Okay, so the second thing that I want to say is that I think Beastmaster is one of the best heroes in the game for soloing Roche because it's very hard to detect when Beastmaster actually leaves to solo Roche. It's very hard for the enemy team to know that you're soloing Roche. And the reason for that is because the way Beastmaster likes to play in most games, unless you're playing 5-man Beastmaster, which is good, but unless you're playing that, you're basically going to be, so you're going to take this tier 1, if you're offlaning on this side, you're going to take this tier 1, you're going to take the middle tier 1, and then you're going to occupy this area of the map and just constantly roar anybody who comes in here, and you're going to just be a tremendous pain in the ass for the enemy team. They might gank you a couple times, but it's only going to be with smokes because they know that you have a hawk up, so you're going to see them if they don't smoke to gank you. And Beastmaster going missing, it probably means that he's just jungling over here and he's finished jungling this, or he's afraid that people are going to come and get him, or he's going with his team or something like that. People aren't going to think anything of it. And if they're not over here trying to gank you, well then they just think that you're farming this area and they're going to be like, okay, ignore this guy because he's just going to roar us. Like, that's kind of the point of Beastmaster. You kind of take over an area by yourself and just cause havoc in that area. So if you go to Roshan, nobody is going to know the wiser because they just are afraid of you. They just don't want to deal with you. And also you can use the Hawk to scout to make yourself really, really safe while taking Roshan. So it's just a really amazing play to make on Beastmaster, in my opinion. And then also with this 25% XP gain talent, you can get so much XP from killing Roshan yourself. And then also he builds, it's so easy to solo Roshan with this hero. Okay, so basically what you do, I'm going to explain it now because when I'm doing Roshan, I don't want to screw it up. So basically what you do is you summon your Call of the Wild units and then farm kind of over here or wherever, farm wherever, and then wait for 20 seconds to be left on the cooldown of it because you want 2 spawns of Call of the Wild in the pit because if you're later in the game, the Roshan's going to be a lot stronger. You want to make sure that you're not summoning your Hawk in the pit when you resummon it. You want to kind of back out here, turn around, face this way, so your units spawn facing this way. The Hawk will spawn this way. Roshan will still be over here though. And then your units, because you spawn them, they're going to go attack Roshan, but the Hawk won't. So your Hawk's not going to get stomped over here, and you can move it back over to this location to scout. And then also what you want to do is you want to keep your Wild Axes bonus on them because there's that damage amplification that you get. So this basically turns you into Ursa with the stacking debuff on Roshan where he takes more and more damage the longer it takes you. And then of course you want to keep your Solar Crest up and make sure that either your melee Necro is tanking but doesn't die, or your unit is tanking, your neutral creep. So like I said, you spawn all your creeps, you can kind of just jungle over here. Keep the Hawk nearby because you want to smoke with it, because you don't want the Hawk to be seen when you're going to take Roshan. So you just jungle, you just kind of chill out over here, have a good time. Try to get farm, maybe throw a couple of axes. solar crest some creeps. Keep the hawk with you though, just, you know, scout over here. And we will go ahead and wait for 20 seconds. You know, hey, there's a bounty rune, it's great. So it's very, very important. I'm gonna restate this one because I keep forgetting this when I do it and when I'm trying to talk while I'm doing it. It's very important to turn your hero around when you resummon these units, and also to keep the wild axis up on Roshan. That's kind of the most important thing. And you want to send in your creep first, so you can just kind of go into a good location, smoke, send in the Alpha Wolf first, send the hawk up to this area to scout, and then you can kind of manually micro the boar and hit Rosh with it. So you solar crest. And what the hell's going on, Alpha Wolf? Summon your Necros. Hit Roshan, hit Roshan, hit Roshan. Okay, so I'm resummoning. Necros tank. I resummon over there. I keep spamming axes. Keep up the debuff. I make sure that the Necro book does not die to Roshan. I'm going to tank with the neutral creep now. And you can see it's very, very easy. I'm going to move the Necro away again. I don't want him to die. And there you go. You have an Aegis. So it's pretty easy, and since I was kind of talking, I screwed it up a little bit there. I didn't move the hawk over here. If you're in a game, obviously you're going to be 100% focused on that, but you can see it's very, very easy to do this. All you need really is the double resummon, and to make sure that your hawk doesn't get killed by and to keep the axe spam up, just to spam your axes, because that's going to increase the damage. Keep the solar crest up, and make sure to kind of switch the tanking between your units. And if your units get too low, you can type a tank with your Beastmaster, although that's not ideal because you're solar cresting Roshan, so that makes you lose the majority of your armor. So you can kind of see that was very, very easy. It took me only a couple of seconds to kill Roshan. And you can imagine with any sort of team help, and you can even pick up a Blightstone if it's a little bit later into the game and Roshan's harder. It's very, very easy to take Roshan in this way. And it's very safe because even if, you know, if you have a hawk, you just have it scouting all around the pit, or you can keep it up here. And it's very, very easy. And no matter what creep you get, it's very useful for taking Roshan. The Centaur can stun it, has a lot of HP. The Ursa gives you attack speed. The Wolf gives you the Pack Leader's Aura, which, because the Wolf is a lot less tanky, you're going to have to tank with your Necro unit, but that's okay because you kill it so much faster with the Wolf. And then the Satyr gives you this Aura, so you can just kind of get the regen on all of your units. And you never want to tank with your boar, because the boar dies really, really quickly, and it does a lot of piercing damage to Roshan. So you want the boar to be kept alive. And that's why you summon the boar kind of over here. That's why you turn around and summon the boar. So the boar's over here, the hawk will be over here. The unit, which will be melee for the most part, unless it's a troll, will go and start hitting Roshan. But if it's a troll, that's okay. You just move it in a little bit closer. It can get a little bit clunky with the micro, but just make sure you have a lot of time, because the units are quite tanky. You have a lot of time to kind of manually select things and move them away and stuff. So that's it. That's basically what you do. And, you know, the later it is in the game, obviously, the more you're going to need, but the more items you're going to have on Beastmaster, so it's going to be a lot easier, and the more help you can get from your team. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I believe this is like a really, really good way to win a lot of pubs, because people do not expect this, and it's really, really game-winning. Like, the enemy team just straight up gets demoralized from seeing Roshan being taken a lot of the time. So I guarantee you will win pubs with this. With soloing Roshan and Beastmaster, or at the very least taking like one of your teammates, like your mid player, giving them a free Aegis is super, super good. Tell your team to go distract them somewhere else, the enemy team somewhere else, and they will, and the enemy team will gladly take the bait because they're so sick of you roaring them in their own jungle. So thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video.